Hello and welcome to Kashmir Sports Watch live discussion. We are again here and bringing you the mid innings discussion. The match was thrilling, and we all were anticipating this match for quite some time. And there was thrill, there was fight between both the sides. First, Pakistan came through; they bowled really well, and then there was some defense from India. And at the end, Pakistan again came back, and the score now is India has put on 266 runs on the board, and Pakistan will need to chase it down. So, Viren, initial thoughts. पहले बताओ कि मतलब how was the start from Pakistan bowlers? Let's start with that.
I think it was fantastic because the kind of conditions we've seen here across the LPL and across that first game also, it was not that easy to get movement here. So for them to get movement and that setup from Shaheen to get Rohit, that setup was amazing. Like those four, that patch of four balls, it just felt like he knew what he was thinking. But
Hmm.
I think it was basically an inning of three halves. One half that was won by Pakistan, second
Hmm.
middle overs half that was won by
Hmm.
India, and then the third half, which I feel was shared, maybe
Hmm.
60% towards Pakistan. If we had
Hmm.
played the last seven balls, it would be shared.
Hmm. Hmm. But I think Pakistan dominated in the two halves, like the first one and the last one, because
Hmm.
getting those two wickets in an over by Shaheen, that changed the scenario. Like India were looking for 300 plus at that stage. तो जब वहां पे दो विकेट्स गिर गए तो स्कोर में काफी फर्क आया. लाइक इट इज नाउ 266, वरना एक स्टेज पे लग रहा था कि 300 भी क्रॉस होगा. तो हाउ कितना कम्पिटेटिव स्कोर है ये?
I think the score is still very competitive. जो हमने conditions देखे यहाँ पे,
हम्म.
like people were still questioning the fact why India batted first, but I'm
हम्म.
backing that
हम्म.
move because yet the kind of movement that we saw in the previous games here under lights, you are not going to see that under the sunlight. So I still feel like
हम्म.
that the power play is going
हम्म.
to decide a lot of things for Pakistan. क्योंकि हमें पता है कि if they lose even
हम्म.
two wickets in the power play, they don't have as
हम्म.
much depth as India. So that will
हम्म.
be the big concern point.
Hmm. But you spoke about the depth, but we recently saw the Pakistani, like even the tailenders, Naseem Shah and Haris Roof and all of them like play well. So I think depth is there. But the problem is like क्या वो चेज में जब इंडिया पाकिस्तान बड़ा गेम हो तो क्या चेज में वो कंसिस्टेंसी रह पाएगी इनिंग में अगर अर्ली विकेट्स गिर गए. बट कौन लगता है आपको इंडिया की तरफ से अगर अर्ली विकेट्स चाहिए इंडिया को तो कौन होगा वो बॉलर जो इंडिया को वो अर्ली विकेट्स देगा?
Under lights, definitely Siraj. I think जैसी उनकी
हम्म.
bowling है under lights, he'll be lethal. And जो आपने point कहा about their lower order, without any
हम्म.
disrespect, facing
हम्म.
Abdul Rahman, if I remember the name correctly, and
हम्म.
Afghanistan's pace attack versus facing
हम्म.
Bumrah and Siraj is going to
हम्म.
be a different
करेक्ट.
piece of meat.
हम्म.
And one
फेयर
bad
है.
news to break is it's raining again.
Oh, so there might be a bit of delay, like in the innings. So is it good? The rain has like come in the mid innings. So which team is it gonna favor, Pakistan or India?
Rain will favor the bowlers because जो हम from the start of the game, I don't know if you saw the pitch report, but Sanjay Manjrekar said
I did.
at the pitch report it will seam, it will swing, it will spin, everything will happen, and every time
Hmm.
that the moisture comes into the track, it will again help someone like Siraj with lights and moisture. It is only going to get more difficult, and we know that while everyone talks about that no ball in the Champions Trophy, Fakhar actually strikes at below 60 against Bumrah, and the
Hmm.
sample size is 40 balls plus, so it's not going to be easy.
Hmm. हाँ, करेक्ट. बट if the rain again came in, like अगर और बारिश
Hmm.
हो गई तो स्पिनर्स के लिए ग्रिप करना काफी मुश्किल हो जाएगा, स्पेशली फॉर कुलदीप यादव जो लाइक एक लेफ्ट आर्म चाइनामैन ऑप्शन है, तो उसके लिए काफी मुश्किल हो जाएगा बॉल को ग्रिप करना. तो इज इट अ बैड न्यूज फॉर इंडिया? लाइक जडेजा भी तो फिंगर स्पिनर है, तो उसके लिए भी काफी टफ होगा टू ग्रिप द बॉल इफ अगर और रेन हो गया, और लाइक देयर विल बी बॉल गीला होगा काफी, तो इट विल बी इजियर फॉर पाकिस्तान बैटर्स.
So definitely that's one thing, that's one angle to look at it. But एक चीज जो हम बोल रहे हैं कि श्रीलंका में वो पूरा ग्राउंड कवर करते हैं, जो वैसे ज्यादातर ग्राउंड्स में नहीं होता. तो यहाँ पे पूरा ग्राउंड कवर
करेक्ट.
होता है, तो आउटफील्ड में भी जब बॉल जाता है इतना नहीं गीला होता वर्सेस when you look at any other ground of the world. So that might work in their favor, but
करेक्ट.
totally depends कि कितना रेन होगा, कितना जल्दी it goes back out, and plus we'll not see spin for the first 10-15 overs. So by then it will dry out further. So
हाँ.
might not be as
हाँ.
big a disadvantage.
Plus, India has an advantage in Hardik Pandya. They will have four pacers to deal
Hmm.
with. Like Pakistan
They
had
can
that one
easily
best
delay
option in the
push
pace.
in. Yeah,
Hmm.
they can easily push
Hmm.
spin till the 18th, 19th over without too much trouble unless they have a pathetic day.
Correct. So, like you said, Mohammad Siraj can strike early for India. But do you think Bumrah can make the major difference because but he is coming from an injury काफी time के बाद वो आ रहे हैं वापस. So क्या will it be like the Bumrah or Siraj in the early overs?
So I feel it will be Siraj because of the lights, but
Hmm.
obviously you cannot eliminate Bumrah, and his numbers actually are better, especially against
Hmm.
against Babar and Fakar. But my gut feel and hinge based on the conditions is Siraj right now.
Hmm. Now going into the Indian innings, पहले like we always know that Rohit Sharma struggles against left arm spin, left
Hmm.
arm pace. तो it was again the same thing. Like ये काफी टाइम से हो रहा है कि इंडियन बैटर्स लेफ्ट आर्म पेसर आ जाता है तो पहले ही आउट हो जाते हैं. तो डू यू थिंक what is the concern? इतने टाइम से like they are at the international level and अभी भी वो लेफ्ट आर्म अच्छी पेस को स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं. तो what is the solution? Why are they not able to like play left arm pace quite well?
So to be honest, till now, whenever I saw Rohit, and even till before the game began, I was quite dead sure कि वो जल्दी out हो जाएंगे, वही होगा. But when I
Hmm.
saw his flow at the start of the innings, the way he hit those two
Hmm.
boundaries, and he looked
Hmm.
way more focused today, I just felt like
Hmm.
the rain break took away his focus. And then after that, and it felt like on the other hand, Shaheen had come out fresh because
Hmm.
in that short break at that time, Waqar Yunus was discussing about how Shaheen's length was a little fuller than required. So
Hmm.
maybe someone has
Correct.
passed the right advice back to
Hmm.
him,
Hmm.
and we saw three balls on a good length, and that was it for Rohit. So while the
Hmm.
problem is compounding and the same, obviously sometimes when there are so many interruptions, it takes your flow away as a batter because as a batter you need
Hmm.
to come back and adjust back to the pace of the pitch.
Correct. But what about the Virat Kohli's dismissal? Like he got stuck on the crease. ना वो आगे गए ना वो पीछे गए and उधर से ही like it was played on. उनके shot के बारे में क्या कहना है आपका? गौतम गंभीर said like as he always points out the finger. He said it was a nothing shot. ना वो आगे गए ना वो पीछे गए. तो how would you look at the Virat Kohli's dismissal?
So I'm not someone who generally agrees with Gautam Gambhir too much, but I think he had it on point there. मतलब ऐसा लग रहा था कि he was only playing for survival, and when that happens, then it obviously becomes a concern point because
Hmm.
we know that they are good drivers, but जब आप वो बीच में रह जाते हो, then तो कुछ नहीं होगा वो सिनेरियो में.
हाँ. इंडिया वर एक स्टेज पे 66 को 4 विकेट गिरना उसके बाद इतना बड़ा पार्टनरशिप. डू यू थिंक बाबर मिस द ट्रिक देयर कि फास्ट बॉलर्स को उन्होंने नहीं लाया, उन्होंने स्पिनर्स के साथ स्टिक किया जिसकी वजह से लाइक बहुत वी ऑल नो कि बहुत ईशान एंड हार्दिक वो काफी अच्छे प्लेयर है स्पिन बॉलिंग के. तो क्या बाबर ने वहां पे ट्रिक मिस किया कि वहां पे और एक दो विकेट मिल जाते तो शायद ही इंडिया 150 या 200 रन टच कर
I
पाता?
actually tweeted about this. While
हम्म.
the wickets went to Shaheen and Harris in the first spells, the guy
हम्म.
who actually looked the most dangerous was Naseem. And we know कि
एग्जैक्टली.
Naseem's usage generally is such कि you want to use 7 to 8 overs of his before the 30th over mark is hit because वो नहीं जाने जाते अपने death bowling के लिए. We know he got those 2 wickets today because he was bowling to the tail, and we also know that why. Shadab's one extra over was bowled is because Babar was not confident about using Naseem at the death. So when he had that kind of flow and when he was bowling that well, उनको पहले ही use कर देना चाहिए था 7-8 overs and then use him for 2 overs in the death because वहाँ पे अगर एक और wicket गिर जाता then it would be difficult trail back upwards because we know Jadeja has his struggles against raw pace.
करेक्ट करेक्ट. बट आप तीनों बॉलर्स में से शाहीन वाज पिक अप द बॉलर्स. उनने पहले दो बड़ी विकेटें ली एंड उसके बाद गेटिंग आउट हार्दिक पांड्या एंड रविंद्र जडेजा इन द सेम ओवर. तो उनकी बॉलिंग के बारे में क्या कहेंगे आप? लाइक काफी टाइम से वो भी बाहर थे एंड वो भी एक कमबैक कर रहे थे. But despite of all this, he had his lengths right there. He made like the life hard for batters in throughout his spell. तो उसकी उनकी bowling के बारे में what are your thoughts?
I just felt like like I said, after the rain break, he managed to hit his length correctly, and it felt like उन्हें पता था कि the batsmen are going to try and play him conservatively, and उन्होंने पूरा फायदा उठाया उस बात का. Like he ensured that he didn't leave any loose and open. जहाँ उनको मौका मिला वहाँ आके उन्होंने good length पे ball hit की, and he got वो. He's not someone who needs exponential sort of swing. उनको थोड़ी सी भी jag मिलती है, that's more than enough for him to deceive the batter because of his accuracy.
बट व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट द चेस? लाइक देखिए हमने देखा कि पाकिस्तान के स्पिनर्स ने काफी ज्यादा स्ट्रगल किया. बट डू यू थिंक इंडियन स्पिनर्स कैन लाइक दे माइट नॉट गो फॉर एज मेनी रन्स और लाइक वो भी कुछ विकेट्स दे सकते हैं, बिकॉज रविंद्र जडेजा काफी एक्सपीरियंसड है और वो जल्दी अपने ओवर्स फिनिश करते हैं, प्लस ही हैज सम वेरिएशंस एज वेल। एंड कुलदीप यादव, वो तो कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट बॉलर है। लास्ट टाइम ही प्लेड अगेंस्ट पाकिस्तान ने काफी अच्छी बॉलिंग की थी। तो डू यू थिंक इंडिया स्पिनर्स विल बी कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम व्हाट पाकिस्तान स्पिनर्स बॉल्ड?
See, I think it totally depends on how the power play goes. Agar if India gets 2 wickets in the power play, then the spinners will make hay. But if one of Babar or Rizwan stay out there when Jadeja's introduction point occurs, we know that they're probably the best players in terms of nudging the ball around and switching the strike around. So वो सिनेरियो में उनके लिए डिफिकल्ट होगा, बिकॉज if the pitch gets slightly wet with this round of rain, it will also mean कि while the bounce will be variable, maybe spin उतना ना मिले उन्हें, तो it will be sort of tricky on what happens in that part.
Will there be dew? Like हमने सुना है कि पाले गले में उतना dew नहीं आता, but overcast conditions है, तो क्या आप dew expect कर सकते हैं? It will be a bit harder for India if the dew was there.
ड्यू होगी तो इट विल बी हार्डर, बट अब तक तो हमने ऐसी कुछ खास ड्यू देखी नहीं है, सो नॉट रियली एक्सपेक्टिंग द ड्यू. And Mohsin, I think we have many comments from your fans, so we should take some of those comments too.
Let me take a look at the people are saying, some are saying कि पाकिस्तान easily chase करेगा total, and some are saying कि इतना easy नहीं होगा. तो अगर आपसे yeah, so if India gets early wickets, then it will be extremely tough for Pakistan to like go there and like chase it down easily. But अगर उन्होंने एक अच्छा opening partnership अगर उनको मिली, तो it will be very tough for Indian bowlers to make a comeback, because उतना भी threatening total नहीं है यहाँ पे. पाले किले में average first inning score है 280 around. तो आई थिंक अगर पाकिस्तान की ओपनिंग पार्टनरशिप सही रही, 1-2 विकेट उनने अगर जल्दी से नहीं गिरे उनके, तो देन आई थिंक इट विल बी अ केक वॉक. बट इफ देयर वर अर्ली विकेट्स फ्रॉम इंडियन साइड, देन द चेज इज गोइंग टू बी क्वाइट टफ. व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स फिर?
I totally agree. Like I said, power play will decide this game. अगर power play में 2 या 2 से ज़्यादा विकेट गए, then the chase is going to be very difficult. But if they manage to hold their own and lose a wicket or lesser, then they have really good players of spin and medium pace. So like Bumrah and Siraj will hold the ace, because unless pitch में बहुत ज़्यादा grip है, then someone like Shardul comes in. But otherwise, I just feel like Shardul was kept in the team only for batting depth. Ideally, Shami should have been in that slot.
Sorry, lost you for there's a second because there was some network interruption. क्या कह रहे थे आप विरेन? Can you please repeat?
I was saying that it looks difficult that Shardul will create too much of impact with the kind of conditions that are there, unless बहुत grip हो. So yeah.
तो उस कॉल पे क्या कहना है आपको? लाइक मोहम्मद शामी को नहीं खिलाया गया और शार्दुल को खिलाया गया ताकि एक बैटिंग डेप्थ मिले, बट ऑल शार्दुल को डू इज मेक 3 runs. तो वाज इट अ राइट कॉल? If you ask me, I think it was not the right call. चलिए बैटिंग की डेप्थ आप बढ़ा रहे हैं, but you're playing a bowler like Shardul is kind of not there, not here bowler. तो आई थिंक व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स कि क्या इंडिया को मोहम्मद शामी को खिलाना चाहिए था इंस्टेड ऑफ शार्दुल ठाकुर?
So I was hearing that there was something on Shami's fitness as well. It was not purely a batting depth wala call, but अगर Shami fit होते, then you had another bowler who could cause havoc under lights. So I find it difficult to believe कि वो fully fit थे and नहीं खेले. So I'm hoping and assuming it's just a fitness call.
Correct. If it is not a fitness call, then I think it's a blunder. You can't leave somebody like Mohammad Shami out from this important game and play Shardul Thakur. Now, Viren, who do you think from Pakistan will be the impact player? कौन सा वो ऐसा बैट्समैन होगा? क्या वो बाबर होंगे? क्या वो इमाम होंगे? या someone else who can make a major difference?
So I feel, at least looking at whatever data I've looked at and what condition based scenarios I see, I think if someone has to make the impact for them, it will be Rizwan, because Babar's strike rate and numbers poor against Kuldeep, poor against Bumrah. Same for Fakhar, plus Fakhar is out of form. And Imam, when there's movement up front, we know he's suspect. So if someone has to actually hold this game for them from start to end, it will be someone like Rizwan, unless Babar manages to get past those matchups well, which I don't think will be that easy.
Right. Yeah. So about Hardik Pandya's bowling, how is he going to be for India? Hardik Pandya, we know when he has his tail up, when he comes in and bowls the right lengths and with pace, can he do the damage?
So Hardik, like you mentioned, is a confidence player, and now that he's come off that good knock, I think he can do the job here. And यहाँ पे जैसे हमने देखा कि good length पे कुछ तो मिल रहा है bowlers को, so I won't be
Right.
surprised if you see maybe a little bit of Siraj and Hardik to start, and then Bumrah follows along.
Now at last, Viren, what are the predictions? Tell me, who do you think firstly will score the most runs from Pakistan?
So I think I already gave you the hint about that. I think it should be
The Mohammad
Rizwan.
Rizwan, you're saying.
I think
So
it
from
should be
India,
Rizwan.
who is going to take the most number of wickets?
I am confused between Siraj and Jadeja. If the conditions are not as wet, then Jadeja, else Siraj.
And at the end, who do you think is going to win this match? No bias here.
You're answering that, not me.
If you see, I'm bad at predictions, but I will have this way. If India starts well, gets a few early wickets, then it is going to be India winning the match. But if they don't get the wickets up front, it is going to be an easy chase for Pakistan, because I believe the pitch is not as tough as it seemed in Indian innings. It is a bit like here and there pitch, but there is enough support for batters to come and score runs. So I believe it is going to be a very, very good match. That right now, for me, it is 50-50. So let's hope for a good match. Your last thoughts before we wrap this up?
I agree with you, and the power play will definitely decide the game, because that will decide which way this whole game will go. Because अगर power play में wickets नहीं गिरे, then Babar and Imam are the kind of players who like to play at that tempo of 80 to 85 wala strike rate, which is also coincidentally about their career strike rate, and this is that's all you need to achieve the target today. So I think it will totally sit in their billing if they manage to get out of those 7-8 overs well. So that will decide the game.
So let's hope the rain stays away and we get a full match, so that we know who wins it with like full game. Because when you have a full game, that's when it gets really good. If there are some overs cut down or something like that, DLS and all that stuff, that just like erupts the whole point of this. Yeah. So let's hope for a good encounter. Thanks a lot, Viren, for joining us. We'll be shortly again live. Bye.
Yes,
Take care.
Thank you so much.